know you have a lot of non-famous friends, but also the people who are famous in Nashville.
I try to only have famous friends.
No, but the people who are famous in Nashville, do you see them at their most kind of relaxed, natural state? You know,
yeah.
Your kids go to school with like Dierks Bentley's kids, or I mean,
there's like a little. I mean, I hate to name names because it's kind of embarrassing, but I mean, there are a lot of people actually that are living in Nashville who are in the public eye. One of them, obviously, that you guys know is Connie Britton, who is she lives in Nashville. And I see her quite a bit, and Brad Paisley's wife's a really good friend of mine. And actually, Brad's wife, Kim, is one of the first people that introduced me to some women there. So I really felt like it was like being invited to be in a bridge club or something, you know.
Look, so, there she is. I remember her from Father of the Bride.
Yeah.
She was so cute in that
She's great.
movie.
She's a great mom. You know, and I know that you had Amy Grant on. And
yes.
She is one of my dearest friends, and I absolutely worship the ground she walks on. And she's like, she's really a go-to for me. You know, she's a great friend to walk through life with.
Well, she actually said some very nice things about you when she was on the show recently, and she said you gave her some great advice after her mom died. So let's take a look.
The morning of my mom's funeral, she called and I was in my car, and she said, "My mother gave me this advice. If you get choked up, just stop for a minute and wiggle your toes in your shoes." And I did some heavy toe wiggling. And I left there. I felt so much gratitude for her great advice. Yeah, and I just loved her as a friend after that.
It's nice. Nice person.
She's great. I mean, you know, it's funny because when I was in college, I listened to her records all the time. We listened to her and Michael W. Smith all the time, and I kind of idolized her. And she's my age, so it's funny. She was so young when she first started, but she's just a really cool chick. She's wicked funny, you know. I was like, you can be a Christian and really be funny and be irreverent and have a beer, and you know. She's an awesome lady.
She and I were scheming about you because we both love you, and we were like, who can we set Sheryl up with? We need to find her a great guy.
She said one thing that really did break me up once, and she said, because we were talking about her and Vince is also a dear friend of mine, has been a great support system for me musically, and given me good advice for the record. And she said, I just want you to be well-loved, just experience being well-loved in your life. I thought, what a great term, to be well-loved, to love somebody well in a way that, you know, really edifies them. And I thought, what a great, I look at the relationships around me, couples, and I think that's really a great, I think a significant way of looking at love.
I agree, because, you know, it's one thing to love someone, but I think well-loved means taken care of, you know, in every way.
And accepting and...
So anyway, what are we going to do about that, Missy?
Well, I think everyone should leave. I was thinking I should have my own reality show. And...
Let's find Sheryl a boyfriend. But no, it is hard, because you're a single mom, you've got your 2 little boys, you're busy as can be.
Yeah.
And... you know, but that is my wish for you. I have a lot of single friends, and I'm sort of the yenta. I always try to find, I'm a matchmaker, and I like to find them somebody great. So who's your celebrity crush, so at least I know your type?
Oh, gosh, that is really hard. I mean, I like a guy like, I kind of like the goofy, I love Jason Sudeikis. I mean, people who are just funny, and the funnier they are, the more attractive. Somebody who's curious, somebody who's smart, who loves adventure. You know, clearly they have to love kids.
Yeah.
And I've got 2 great boys that have no baggage, you know, so they're not going anywhere on the weekends. They're full time.
Which is good,
it's
I
good,
think.
Yeah.
All right,
you
so
know, it's
call 1-800-DATE-SHERYL if you guys know anybody who fits that description. Let's talk about country music, because, you know, first of all, I'm surprised this is your first country album, living in Nashville for 7 years now. And I always feel like a lot of your songs have a little bit of country in them already, you know, like First Cut is the Deepest and Every Day is a Winding Road. I can see a little bit of a country vibe there.
Yeah.
So why'd you decide to take the plunge full out?
Well, there were a couple of reasons why I did it now. I'd always wanted to do it, and in the last few years, the country format's really changed. It's really broadened a lot. You hear everything from country rock, southern rock to some traditional country, not as much as probably used to, a lot of pop kind of country. And I always felt like what I was doing was kind of an offshoot of like Emmylou or Graham Parsons and the Rolling Stones, certainly, during their Let It Bleed and Exile. And I just didn't, you know, I just didn't want people to think I was capitalizing on the country fan base by coming over from pop. And the timing of it was great, so I didn't have a record deal. But it was Brad Paisley who came to me and said, if your songs were to come out now, they would definitely be at the country format. And he's like, you should make a record. And I didn't really change that much about, you know, how I did it, but I did co-write a lot on this record.
Right.
And
how was the experience different, though, Sheryl, from some of your previous albums? To, I mean, did you get into a different mindset?
Yeah, definitely. It's one of the things that Brad said to me, and God love him. You know, he was so supportive, and I had a lot of great support in the community there, people wanting me to make a record. But he said, look, you know, you already write songs, you already write narratively, now you just got to turn the vocal up and get to the point. You know, country songs are really about the story. And so he was really a big part of setting me up with the people. And also he wrote with me. He wrote that song. He and I, Chris Dubois, wrote Waterproof Mascara, and it was the first song that we did.
And I know that you've been traveling to radio stations. I saw you, I was working in Las Vegas, and I happened to see Sheryl and some of her band members in an elevator. It was so random. And you were traveling all around. You were so tired.
I know.
Because you were going from radio station to radio station. So did you feel like you almost had to start from scratch with this album and kind of prove yourself all over again?
When you start out at country radio, that's what is expected of you, is to go and meet the radio programmers. It's just like the scene in Coal Miner's Daughter, where Dew and Loretta are in the car, and he zips her up, and she takes her guitar in and her 45, and, you know, says, I hope you like it, I hope you play it, and, you know, plays on air and stuff. And it's just like that. It's a throwback to that. And it is an age-old tradition, which I told the record label, look, you know, if that's what you do here, that's what I want to do. And so, you know, I've just been out basically proving that I am committed to the country format. You know, all that to say, my old fans, I think, listen to country a lot as well. I think some of the best songwriting, a lot of great songwriting is happening at the country format. And so it doesn't feel like that big of a departure for me. And it's been a load of fun.
Well, I think it's fantastic. I mean, I love all your music, period. And you know, you started as a backup singer. You know, for last time you were here, we showed you singing backup for Michael Jackson, and you've done backup for Sting, and who else? Millions of people, right, Sheryl? Who else?
Maybe not millions.
Well, dozens. James Taylor.
Hundreds of thousands.
Didn't you do some with James?
I've sung a lot with him. I've really been fortunate. I've sung, you know, with everyone from Johnny Mathis to Rod Stewart to Stevie Nicks to I've sung with Emmy. I've sung with Willie Nelson quite a lot. I've sung with Eric Clapton, Bob Dylan. I mean, I've really gotten to sing with people I've loved and admired and who have inspired me my whole life. So I feel extremely blessed.
And one thing I didn't realize that when you were starting out, you were a music teacher at first, but then you started singing jingles.
I did,
And I didn't realize that. You sang Mcdonald's jingle?
I did. I was living in St. Louis, and I had been teaching in the public school system. I was a music teacher. And I was really young, and I was engaged. It was the first time I was engaged. And once I got dumped, I started working. I was singing in bands on the weekends, and a producer came in and asked me if I'd come sing a jingle. And it was a jingle for McDonald's. It went regional into Chicago, and then it got picked up nationally.
What was it?
It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. That was it. I was one of many voices that did that.
And you did a Toyota one too? Did
well, so that small commercial, that 45 minutes of work, paid me more than the 2 years I had taught. Wah, wah.
Which is a sad commentary on how we need to value teachers more, by the way.
Yes, absolutely. So I got in my car, my little Renault Alliance, and I drove out to LA, and I took my tapes to every studio in town, and eventually, well, within a couple of weeks, started getting work, which is kind of miraculous. But yeah, I did a Toyota spot. I did a. Do you guys have In-N-Out Burger here?
No, it's in California.
California. I did one of those. In and out, in and out. That's what a hamburger's all about. I did one for Lean Cuisine.
Oh, how did the Lean Cuisine
I don't
go?
remember that one either.
You don't? Congratulations on the success of your new album.
Thank you.
And it's always so great to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.